So I wanted to take a few minutes with this video to talk about 3 interesting PlayStation 5 stories, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. Now, the stories I wanted to dive into today include Sony setting another record before any other platform, the PlayStation 5 Pro Prototype and some interesting details there, and the Microsoft Activision deal could be blocked for 10 years. First, let me know if you've ever owned a PlayStation 1. We're going to be talking about PlayStation Legacy here today, and I'm curious how far back some of you go. You don't necessarily need to be, from that era, but just have played some of those classics. You've had the PlayStation 1, you've had it in your hands, you've played some of those games, you've had a PlayStation 1. So comment below, yes or no, if you've ever owned a PlayStation 1 or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, the Activision-Microsoft deal could be blocked for 10 years. Reading from Push Square, Microsoft's effort to acquire Call of Duty publisher Activision Blizzard was already starting to look quite dire, but an appeals process is currently underway, we're told. If unsuccessful, however, Microsoft will apparently need to wait a full decade before it will be able to try again. Over on Reset Era, the entire saga has been chronicled in a 900-plus page official thread, with the OP IDAs putting their skills as a European antitrust lawyer to fantastic use. Now, we aren't lawyers referring to work in our pajamas, but we can confirm that on page 339, under Article 11.29 of the final report, it reads, prohibition would be affected by accepting undertakings under Section 82 of the Act or making an order under Section 84 of the Act prohibiting the merger and preventing the parties from attempting to merge for a further period. Our normal practice would be to prevent a future merger between the parties for the next 10 years, absent a change of circumstances. We won't pretend to understand the full nuance or complete context here, but that looks pretty clear-cut to our layman's eyes. Recall that Microsoft recently said 10 years was plenty of time for Sony to create its own Call of Duty competitor. We imagine it could do the same in a similar time span. So I'm not sure if the people over at Push Square meant to push that little jab there at the end using Microsoft's own words against them. But regardless, it seems that if their appeal doesn't go well, the CMA will block the chance to merge for the next 10 years. Now, I will say it states that their normal practice is 10 years, so it sounds like it could be more or less. But regardless, the entertaining point here is that it is 10 years where Microsoft has been handing out 10-year deals left and right, and that's all we hear from them. And the running joke right now is that the CMA gave out their own 10-year deal to Microsoft. At this point, things aren't looking good, but of course, it's clear that Microsoft is still trying, so let's see how this goes. Now, diving into the second story of the video, Sony sets another record, beating Nintendo and Xbox. Reading from Push Square, already enjoying a particularly lucrative financial quarter, Sony has crossed another sales milestone, becoming the first console manufacturer to sell 500 million home consoles. Obviously, that removes handhelds from the equation. Sorry, Nintendo, that means most of your 833 million isn't eligible, so PSP and PS Vita sales were not included as well. Spotted over on Reset Era, cumulative sales across all PlayStation platforms have now crossed that big round number with the latest PlayStation 5 sales. It's a pretty impressive feat, taking almost 30 years across 5 lovely machines to accomplish it. The PlayStation 1 sold 102 million, the PlayStation 2 sold 155 million, the PlayStation 3 sold 87 million, the PlayStation 4 sold 117 million, and the PlayStation 5 currently sits at 38.4 million, bringing that grand total to 499 million here, but that's because they're using whole numbers in the article and in the context here. But for example, the PlayStation 5 again sold 38.4 million, not just 38, so it brings it over that 500 million if you account for the rest of them. But yeah, 500 million is an impressive number for home consoles to reach, and it's even bigger knowing that PlayStation is the first to do so. Sometimes we forget that Sony has 3 consoles all over 100 million consoles sold each, with the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 5 looks set to pass the PlayStation 4 by next year, so it could be joining that 100 million console sold club in the near future. But you guys let me know if you're a part of the 38 million PlayStation 5s out there or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And now diving into the final story of the video, the PlayStation 5 Pro Prototype and development timelines. So this was an interesting side conversation that managed to come across my eyes. Just to give it a bit of a refresher before diving in here, Tom Henderson released a report a bit ago stating that Sony is set to release a PlayStation 5 Pro come late 2024. Tom didn't provide any details on leaks for the console itself, but stated that as for leaked details, we'll have to wait until a later date to release those. So it's clear that he has information, but we just don't know what he knows in regards to the PlayStation 5 Pro until now, it seems. So the story starts with a Twitter user retweeting a March 14th tweet from Tidex over on Twitter, whom we've covered here on the channel before. The patent is for a multi-GPU setup design patent from PlayStation. Zuby Tech replies stating it's for PlayStation Cloud, not necessarily a new PlayStation piece of hardware. And Red Gaming Tech, fellow YouTuber here, joins the conversation to state, almost certainly, they do a single APU for home console. PlayStation 5 Pro was based on Rdna 3 Plus, Zen 5. It was like Saban Xbox Refresh APU I leaked, but I think PlayStation 5 Pro was canned about a year ago. So Red Gaming Tech also has sources of his own. I watch his stuff here on YouTube as well. He mainly focuses on PC related content, but you can understand how this can cross over with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox since they're pretty much custom PCs at this point. Now, I will say Red Gaming Tech has stated that he has sources that state the PlayStation 5 Pro is in the works and others that state it was canceled, so he's not sure who is right, but this is where Tom Henderson comes into the situation. He first asks Red Gaming Tech for the code name for the console, I guess, that he knows, the PlayStation 5 Pro that he's heard about, what's the code name that he knows, and to DM him if he wants to discuss to compare information. The conversation continues between Red Gaming Tech and a Twitter user until it gets to the point where Red Gaming Tech states this: I know Saban is definitely dead from Microsoft, so that's Xbox's Pro console. It failed its business case, a fake. I'm not sure what that stands for. I'm pretty sure some of you are gonna roast me on that, but too many SKUs, optimization from developers, but it's a very different beast to the PlayStation 5 Pro. Pro was for premium VR experiences and multi-bounce ray tracing in higher frames per second. Putting a pause here, I would love a PlayStation 5 Pro to get even better PlayStation VR 2 performance and potentially less reprojection in PlayStation VR 2 games and more full 120 frames per second titles, because what we deal with right now is 60 FPS titles reprojected to 120 frames, and it causes visual issues. So, a PlayStation 5 Pro that could alleviate this, help out with this, I'll definitely be there day one for that. But to continue the story, Tom then replies to this stating, I have prototype timelines, distribution to developer timelines, etc. So we shall wait and see. Sony are not anticipating full specs to leak until end of this year because of who they are distributed to. So I don't know if Tom wanted to state this, really, considering this tells us kind of the type of information he has, which sounds significant. Prototype timelines, which I assume means the timeline process for creating prototypes and testing and revision, along with when developers will get their dev kits. Considering he says Sony expects specs to leak later this year, I assume that means that's when developers will get it, because usually stuff like this leaks from developers that get dev kits from the console manufacturer. They'll develop for it for a few months, the developers, when they get the dev kits. Since it's still a PlayStation 5, it's not something completely new. Sony will probably show it off early next year and release it potentially late next year. Again, this is all if the information Tom has is accurate. We'll see how this progresses, but it's clear that it seems like he has a good amount of information. But you guys let me know if you have an interest in the PlayStation 5 Pro or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is the body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with "It is a new week." Potential new week for potential new information from Sony, new leaks, new rumors. If you're excited for the new week, destroy the comment section with "It is a new week," and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.